Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing T Street. Today's mug: love who you were born to be. Love who you were born to be. Today I'm going to jump right in because I've got another meeting to get to. Coffee with Tea: don't skip the process of pruning. My mom was a gardener. And she thought she was a horticulturalist, meaning that she wasn't just about the plants, y'all. She was about the trees and the shrubs in our yard. We never had to hire a landscaper because my mom, she would go and see the vision and decide how she was going to make our yard look from season to season. And right before the end of fall, my mom would begin the process of pruning. And she would do it again right before spring, before it was time for things to bloom, and as things were starting to die. In the fall, before it was starting to die, and in the spring, before it was time for new things to bloom. She would do this process of pruning every year. She pruned flowers. She pruned around our trees. I never understood that until I started to study this concept of pruning. And then she would prune our hedges and our bushes that were in our front yard and in our backyard. She would go through and she would prune it. There's a process to pruning that I think is analogous to what sometimes has to happen in our lives in order for us to be healthy, to be shaped in the right image, and to be productive. I think that we need to have personal pruning. Now, people always say, I'm cutting out the things that no longer work for me. That's not what pruning is, y'all. Because before you can really even prune, the first thing you have to do is you have to examine your life. My mom didn't just go out there and just start cutting and taking the hedge clippers and clipping off flowers. She didn't do that. She would go out and assess. And I would see her looking at bulbs on the plants. And she would say, I need to cut that off because it's dead and it won't allow the new buds to grow. I remember watching her, and I'll tell you later why I now understand why she would always look at the base of the tree to tell what she had to do around that tree and what she would do with the bushes. Before you should ever make a cut, you've got to assess what needs to happen. So before you start cutting your life, examine it first so you know the areas that need pruning. Second thing, you have to remove the dead or diseased or broken things. And that's not always people. We always say, I'm getting rid of people who no longer serve me. Can I tell you, sometimes the way we view ourselves might be the dead or diseased or broken thing that's in our lives. So we have to remove the way that we sometimes see ourselves. If what you have in your life is negative self-talk, you might need to remove that because it is a dead or a broken thing that's in you, not always in someone else, but that is in you that keeps you from growing. And so you might have to remove that dead or diseased thing. The next thing, remove the things that like are rubbing up against you, the things that cause you to be chafed and not being able to grow. And so the thing that continually waits on you that you can't get rid of, you got to face it, deal with it, and then remove it, because whatever it is, it's the irritant that's keeping new from growing. If I've got scales on my skin that doesn't allow my new skin to come in, it becomes unhealthy. And so I have to remove that thing that's crossed inside of me or that's rubbing up against me that keeps me from growing at the rate for which I am called to grow. Next, you've got to remove what the thing that they call water shoots that are growing from dormant parts of your life. There are parts of your life that literally God has given you the command to walk away from. The things from your past, the things that kept you from being healthy, the things that were once a part of you but are no longer a part of the season that you're in. If you're not careful, if you keep holding on to that, those things are water shoots and things will start to grow and you'll think that it's a part of new life. But it can't possibly be a part of the new growth, because if it was, it wouldn't be coming from the dormant thing or the thing that was dead. So you got to remove those things, even if it looks like life. Everything that looks like life isn't life. So you got to remove those things that are growing from the dormant or the dead or the suspended parts of your life. And finally, you got to remove the root suckers. This is why my mom always looked at the bottom of the tree. At the bottom of the tree, sometimes you'll see little plants growing around the base of a tree. And you might say, well, T, what's the problem with that? It makes the tree look more beautiful. No, indeed, what it really is a root sucker, because it's at the root of that tree, and it's sucking away nutrients that tree needs to grow. It looks pretty, but everything that looks good is not necessarily good. And the reason that root suckers are problematic, those little flowers that grow around the trees or the little pieces of greenery that grows around the bottom of the trees, they're actually formed from damage that has been done at the root. So like if you were cutting your grass and you cut off part of the bottom of that tree, all of a sudden that tree is looking for something. And so these little root suckers start to grow. And the reason that it's problematic is because root suckers suck nutrients and water sources that the tree needs to be healthy. So today I want to encourage you to begin in your life the process of pruning those things that keep you from being healthy, those things that keep you from shaping yourself in the way that you should, and the things that keep you from being productive. It might be time for a little pruning. I'm the amazing T Street, but you know what? There's absolutely, positively nothing amazing in me that's not in each and every one of you. So get to pruning so that you can be productive, healthy, and strong. Have an amazing day.